Welcome everybody to our Fraser Public Schools Elementary Open House. We're very excited to have you here and share a little bit of information about our district. Whether you are a resident family or a family looking to come to Choice Fraser Public Schools, I hope you learn some information about our programming and get any questions that you might have answered this evening. And we're going to get started here. And first of all, I'd like to introduce our leadership team that is on our call today. My name is Dr. Dottie Anderson. I'm the Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction. And I would also like to invite Carrie, our superintendent, to introduce herself.
Good evening. My name is Carrie Wozniak. I'm the superintendent of Fraser Public Schools, and I'm extremely excited and happy to be here tonight to welcome all of our new families. So welcome. And I believe
we have.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, from special education, we have.
Hi there, my name is Bridget Murawski, and I am the special education supervisor here in Fraser Schools, and I'm excited to be here with everyone.
Thank you. And then we have our Disney principal.
The Disney principal needs to unmute. So this is the Disney principal, Aaron Sutherland, and happy to be here tonight.
Good evening, I'm Christy Wiegand. I'm the principal at Edison Elementary in Fraser. Welcome.
And from Eisenhower.
I'm Keith Ton. I'm the principal at Eisenhower Elementary. Thanks for joining us tonight. We look forward to sharing all the wonderful things Fraser has to offer with you.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Sam Argieri. I'm the principal at Emerson Elementary School. Welcome.
Good evening. I'm Chrissy Skladnowski, and I'm the principal at Sauk Elementary.
Hello there. I'm Laura Woods, and I am a longtime Fraser parent, and I am also the principal at Mark Twain Elementary.
Good evening, I'm Kathy Maroney. I'm the director of early childhood. I oversee our school-age child care programs at the elementaries and DK and preschool at Dooley.
Right, thank you. As you can see, we have a great team at Fraser. We all work very closely together, and you will see with our programming, it's all very consistent across all of our elementary buildings. And with that, we're going to get started. Let's see if my computer cooperates. It's freezing up on me, so that's always, technology is always a great thing. So I'll pause for a minute. Mm-hmm. 1 minute.
Donna, would it be okay
to go that way? If I say in this mode, I think I'm good to go.
I'm happy to take over.
Sure. If you want to do that, Carrie, then our guests can see it full screen, and I'll talk as you take it over. How's that?
Sounds perfect.
All right. Sure. We will also have this recording and PowerPoint posted on our website and also emailed out to you by Ms. Ledford, our communications director. On slide 3, you'll see that we have included a map that really outlines our school district in all of our, all of our buildings and the resident area that where your local school district would be. The addresses and the contact information is all on this map. And if you're looking, considering school of choice, you want to know where our buildings are located, this map is really useful and very handy. So you will see on the right all the elementaries listed, as well as our high school and middle school and Dooley. All right. With that, Ms. Wozniak, I know you are going to talk big picture about our district and our philosophy, our portrait of the grad work and strategic plan.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Anderson. Again, I'm so excited to be here tonight. And of course, we're all disappointed that we aren't at a building and actually able to see everyone face to face. But I can assure you that that is going to happen, and you're going to have that opportunity to visit our schools and to learn more about our buildings in person. Tonight, we really just want to give you a chance to meet all of us and learn a little bit more about the district, especially for our newer families. Over the past few years, we've worked really hard on talking about our portrait of graduate. Many school districts throughout the state of Michigan, throughout the country, have started to have these conversations about what does it take to earn a Fraser handshake at graduation. And one thing we know about all of our families is, for the most part, we all have that similar experience of going to school, graduating from high school, and walking across that stage. And over the years, and as we've, now in 2021, we know the world is very different. And that handshake that we give our students at graduation really needs to mean something different. And we need to make sure our students have those skills, those critical thinking, communication, creativity, character, collaboration, citizenship, are those ideas that we talk about all the time in Fraser. And we spent a lot of time with all sorts of stakeholders to get to those 6 dispositions, as we like to call them, of what we want our Fraser graduate to have. Content is certainly important, and those critical skills of reading and writing and math are certainly very important. But there's also so many other things that we focus in on here in Fraser Public Schools, and we want to make sure that that starts at a very early age. So one of our philosophies is the idea of designing learning for all. We want to make sure that when your child comes to Fraser, we are doing our best to design a very personalized experience for your child. So when we talk about our portrait of the graduate, that really is the focus of our district, of our strategic plan. You'll see this image through many of our resources on our website, throughout a lot of documents in our district. And we really try to highlight and stay very focused on these 4 areas. They're really what we call our 4 goal areas. And the first one is our teaching practices. And I think you're going to see here in Fraser, we focus in on a teaching and learning framework called Universal Design for Learning. And that is one of the best practices that our teachers use each day as they design instruction for our children. And they work incredibly hard, like I said, to personalize those teaching practices for your child. Another strength of Fraser, and you hear it all the time, the Fraser family. We work incredibly hard to bring strong relationships, not only between students and teachers, but teachers and parents, our family, and the community. You'll see a very strong commitment and loyalty to this district. This is my 10th year here in Fraser. And when you even hear from our principals, so many of them, I'm always so proud to say, went to school here, their kids are going to school here. People are very committed to Fraser, and I think that's what makes it such a special place. In addition, we have an incredible learning environment. You're going to see some of the most innovative classrooms. We have worked very hard to start to redesign our K-6 spaces to really create a culture that is organic for learning. So students feel deeply engaged and motivated in those spaces. And our teachers at the elementary school have worked very hard to redesign and really repurpose a lot of their spaces in their classrooms. And you're going to see when you come into those spaces, a very warm and inviting space for student learning. And then lastly, something we've been known for many years is really what we call our digital ecosystem. We've been one-to-one now for almost 10 years. All of our elementary students have an iPad, and we were one of the few districts that were very prepared as soon as COVID hit to be able to switch over to remote learning. And we're very proud of the work that our teachers have done throughout this pandemic to bring instruction into the home and to do it in a very strategic way. So not only do we have the devices, you're going to see the flat panel screens in the classroom, we have, internet, wireless throughout the district. You can be on our football field and get the internet. So we're very proud of our what we call digital ecosystem. We really believe that amplifies and adds a great deal of value to student learning. So I'm excited to be here tonight. You have some wonderful people that are going to be sharing some very important information about Fraser Public Schools and the registration process. And I don't think you're going to find a more committed group of administrators than who you're going to meet here tonight. So thank you for that. So I am going to turn it back over to Dr. Anderson.
Now we'll get into some nuts and bolts about our district. And I know a lot of our attendees tonight have incoming kindergartners, as well as, possibly some other grades, but I know based on some of the registration information, a lot of kindergarten. So some of this presentation will be steered towards just kindergarten and as well as the entire elementary program. But talking specifically, you will see in our district, we have a program called DK, and that is a program for young fives and for students turning 5 between May 1st and December 1st. And that program is held at the Dooley Center. We'll give more information in just a minute on that. And then we have our regular kindergarten, which are for students who are 5 by September 1st. That's within our elementary schools. And then all of our elementary schools in Fraser are K-6, and that is not always the common grade level span. We do keep our 6th graders in our elementary schools, giving them that extra year to mature before heading off into middle school. Next year, given our situation right now, we have about 70% of our students coming face-to-face, and another 30% that we're more comfortable remaining in a virtual setting. That's where we stand right now. We know things with the virus continue to progress, and things change on a weekly, monthly basis. So we will look. Obviously, we are constantly monitoring that situation, and we anticipate that we will be able to offer a virtual option based on demand. So that will really depend on where we're at come September with the virus and interest from our community. We really listen to our community and want to meet the needs. So we are prepared to do that. We have a very solid virtual plan in place right now where our students are in virtual classes, and the content and curriculum mirrors what's done in class. And it's with our own Fraser teachers. So we're very proud of that, in that when we talk about a virtual option, that's what we're talking about. But the virtual students do learn from home. We also at our elementary schools have before and after school care with our SAC program. So moving on, we'll talk about DK, the Young 5 program that's held at Dooley Early Childhood Center. And that is meant for students who, as I had said, are younger. Their birthdays are between May and December. And we know that students all learn and mature and progress, develop at different rates. So, one child might, for instance, walk at 9 months, another one might wait till they're 15 months. And so that's not different at school. The younger the grade, the more variance we will see with kids. So the DK Young 5 program are for those children who just need a little bit more time. And the program is designed more developmentally appropriate to the younger learner. It is a free program. It's not a preschool tuition type program. It's a free program that follows our elementary school calendar. It is an only face-to-face program, and students do come in the DK program Monday through Friday for a full day of school. We do try to keep the class sizes on the small side and keep them at a 17 max class size. Some of the activities that happen in the DK program are really hands-on. We work on the gross motor, the fine motor skills, and then some real pre-reading skills, and then really working on that. Taking turns, social, emotional, some self-care kinds of things, hanging up coats, getting in line, those sorts of things. It's a good program, not only for the ones that are young, and also for kids who maybe haven't been into a school setting at all. And given the way situation has been right now, we know there are a lot of preschool programs that maybe weren't able to happen. So DK might be something that's appropriate for your child. We have lots of teachers and experts, early childhood experts that can help talk with you and guide you if you're wondering about this program for sure. The other program that we have is regular kindergarten. Kindergarten are based on Michigan law, must be 5 by September 1st. That's school-aged birth date. And then again, full-time Monday through Friday, regular elementary calendar. Kindergarten is not like it might have been back when, as parents might have been in school. Kindergarten now is a very academic program. Our students are in reading groups and reading by January. Right now, our beginning kindergartners are reading those little books and really taking off. So the academic instruction moves fairly quickly. And we always work on the social emotional learning skills for all of our students, making sure they feel safe, they're able to organize their life and be able to respond appropriately in social situations. We also in kindergarten will have some fine motor, gross motor skills, holding the pencil, being able to write on the lines, first name, last name, and then writing stories. It's amazing the stories that come out of a kindergarten classroom. As far as their writing skills, a ton of growth in the kindergarten year. And then also there's extracurricular areas, the special classes, and we'll talk about those in a little while, but that's the art, gym, music type program. That's our kindergarten program. So here's our specials. So whether you're in DK or kindergarten or first through sixth grade, all elementary students have access to specials. And when we talk about specials typically happen 40 minutes every single day of the week. And so the special classes include physical education, 21st century, where students learn how to be safe on the internet, how to use devices appropriately. They do some STEM activities in that class, but really 21st century literacy program. We also have an art class, the music class, and heart. And heart focuses on body systems and follows the Michigan model for health, and also some healthy living habits and skills. So that's what heart class focuses on, and all of our grades will have those special area classes once a week for 40 minutes, and that's with a different teacher. They typically travel, or the teacher will travel to their classroom for those classes. Next up, Ms. Wozniak, you might need to hand me this. I have a video to show. We really obviously had to think creatively about this evening, because normally we have our families in our school building. We're able to walk around and see our classrooms, meet more of our staff and our teachers. So we really wanted to be able to give you a little bit of a sense of what our buildings are like, and hopefully, come, a few months down the road, you'll be able to come into our buildings. But right now, safety is our first priority, and we wanted to make sure we kept with that. So this is just a short little video that gives you an idea of what our kindergarten classrooms look like.
In Fraser Public Schools, we want all of our kids to get the same opportunities, whether we are in person or virtual. So this year, being that I have a virtual class of kindergartners, I'm working really hard with the other teachers to make sure that they still get those same experiences.
We are in contact with our virtual teachers, just kind of bouncing things off, and if they need anything, we're here from them, and we're all working together, and we always do.
We do a lot of movement incorporated into our learning, so they're up and they're using their whole body to get themselves engaged. We have our manipulatives and things that we provided to them to allow them to do hands-on activities with me.
I will model some things that we've been working on, and the children will be able to work on it on their own in the classroom, and I can meet with children one-on-one or very small groups. I see that big smile under that mask.
I've been teaching for 22 years, and this has obviously been one of the most challenging and different years than I've ever had. As far as my room and Fraser, I just know that we have these things in place, and the kids have been really good. They know they need to have their masks on.
I know I'm a parent myself, and dealing with the same dilemmas, but I feel that, especially in Fraser, we have great mitigation strategies. I feel pretty safe with everything that's going on.
Fraser is a great place to be, and your children will have an awesome experience in the Fraser family.
All right, Ms. Wozniak, would you like to take the screen over?
Mm-hmm.
And Mrs. Wiegand is going to do the next couple slides to talk about some of the wonderful things that happen within our classrooms. You saw a few of our kindergarten teachers in that brief video, and we also have some excellent things happening in our upper L classrooms as well.
All right. Thank you. So at the kindergarten level in Fraser and throughout our K-6 classrooms, all of our teachers, as Ms. Wozniak said earlier, work to provide a really warm and loving, welcoming classroom environment. We have a huge focus on encouraging classroom discussion and promoting collaboration amongst students. Obviously, right now, mid-pandemic, collaboration looks a lot different here in Fraser, but our teachers are going above and beyond to be really creative with ways that they can still foster a collaborative environment amongst students and allow for discussion that allows all kids to grow at their own levels. Another huge emphasis in all K-6 classes here in Fraser is just to really promote social emotional wellness and taking the time to check in with students to ensure that they are emotionally healthy and ready to learn when they come to school each day. We work hard with all students, especially our upper L students, for those families here today that are looking to possibly come to Fraser in an upper elementary grade, but across all grade levels, we work really hard to create a very innovative learning environment for all students, where kids are encouraged to have to use new strategies in order to get to where they need to go. So we offer multiple pathways for learning, and all of our teachers do a really good job of incorporating choice within the classroom, which allows students to take ownership in their learning. Here's just another snapshot. As you can see in the pictures, many of our classrooms are equipped with state-of-the-art new furniture. Again, that furniture really helps to foster collaboration and flexibility within the classroom. It looks a little bit different right now, but our teachers still do a really good job of encouraging like flexible choices amongst students and allowing students to grow at their own levels.
Thank you, Ms. Wiegand. So you had a snapshot of our various programs in a very quick overview of what our classrooms look like, but we know that a lot of our families requires childcare either before school or after school. So we do have school-age childcare, our SAC program, that runs every school day, and it opens at 7 o'clock in the morning until the school day begins. And then again, after school, at dismissal time, students can go into SAC, and it's there open till 6 p.m. We know that helps with our families with busy work schedules. We do have a system where, as a parent, you need to schedule the days that you would need and would need to prepay for those on a 2-week rotational basis. It's not a drop-in type childcare. That makes sure that we have enough staff to care for the children, and also, especially right now, we're really keeping our groups small so that we can implement our mitigation strategies with fidelity. Just to give you an idea of what the fees for that program is, there is a materials fee per child or family, $50 or $75, and the morning sessions are a flat rate, and the afternoon sessions are up to an hour is $4, and then if it's a longer period of time, $7. And then we do have some days on our school calendar where they might be half day for teacher records or an early release, where elementary children go home at 1:30 for our staff professional development days, and care is available on those days as well, and that's $15 a child for the entire afternoon. And that's a registration process that you would you would take care of online and get set up on. Next up, I think we have Ms. Wozniak that's going to talk about all of our safety and security part. I think we've kind of alluded to a lot of it right up to.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Anderson. I think it's really important for you to know the safety and security procedures we have in place right now, and obviously post-COVID, when we have a little bit more flexibility to let visitors in and out of our buildings. I want to talk a little bit about that as well. I mean, right now we are really holding firm to not having classroom visitors. You know, we're not taking field trips. we're in a much different space than we traditionally are in Fraser. But when we are in our more traditional setting, we're very proud of the fact that all of our school doors are locked at all times. We have sally ports. So you're going to find that when you do come to our buildings, you have to show an ID to enter. We have very warm and welcoming building secretaries, but they do a great job of making sure that visitors, show their ID to enter. The local fire and police visit our buildings. Fraser is very fortunate. We still have a police liaison at our high school, and he works with all of our Fraser buildings, and he does a wonderful job, not only supporting the high school, but really supporting the entire district. We also have security cameras in our hallways, in our common areas, and in our playgrounds. We conduct fire drills, severe weather, and lockdown drills regularly. We're always in compliance. We really pride ourselves on the operations and maintenance of our district. We do all of our own work, and we work incredibly hard to keep our buildings safe. And that goes from not only the buildings, but all the way down to transportation. We've recently instituted a bus scanning system. So if you do ride the bus, your child scans on and off the bus. So we can make sure that all students are accounted for. And then obviously with our volunteers, we're very conscientious about making sure everyone is background checked. We know safety is everyone's top priority, whether it be health or the physical safety of your child. That is a priority. And I can't say enough about our staff and the great job that they do each and every day. In addition to the traditional health and safety protocols, we've been very fortunate here in Fraser. We've been back face-to-face at the elementary 5 days a week since December. And we have had some very strong mitigation strategies that have allowed us to be very successful. So currently about 70% of our students are in a face-to-face classroom at the elementary, and all students and staff, they wear their masks. We have hand washing and sanitizing throughout the day. We've hired additional custodians to support that. We keep class cohorts at recess. You would see our bathrooms are sanitized every 4 hours. Our lunchrooms are sanitized between every group. We do our best to social distance as much as possible. And obviously our protocols are subject to change, based upon the CDC guidelines. But we have been very proud of our team and the efforts they've put in to keep our children safe and be back in school if that is a choice that your family wanted. So I believe I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Anderson to talk about the volunteers and some of the roles that they have, along with passing background checks and whatnot.
Yes, thank you, Ms. Wisney. Yes, this is kind of an unusual year, right? Because we typically talk about what's the norm. As Ms. Wisney said, right now we're a little bit, I guess, more confined for the safety, because safety will always be number one. But on the, as soon as we're able, volunteers are such a huge part of the way we do business. And our elementary schools are missing our volunteers. We hear about the Fraser family. We hear about how close our community is, and that's not just talk, that really is. And you would see that on a daily basis in our classrooms, where we have parent volunteers or grandparent volunteers coming in, reading with students, helping with projects, just a ton of different activities that parents might be, or family members might be interested in helping out with. And that's what makes the community so strong. However, when we have somebody come into our building, again, safety drives everything we do. We do background checks on our anyone who chaperones or is alone with, in a small group with kids. So we do background checks. We have parents working in classroom centers. Some parents will come in 3 days a week and work in our kindergarten rooms, and somebody else maybe, has to take, saves that one day off of work so they can go on a field trip with their child's class. All different types of assistance is appreciated and helps the community feel. We do have also after school activities. We have active PTOs in each of our buildings, and those PTOs are do a really good job at planning activities that bring families together. We know that all of our families are not necessarily living in the same area, in the same neighborhood. So we go very intentionally to invite with whether it's skating parties and obviously fundraising things, but Ram's Horn nights, those sorts of things where families get together and are able to, parents are able to meet the other children that their child's friends with during the day. So all of these opportunities really help make Fraser the place that it is, and encourage all of you as you're in your years of Fraser to get involved as much as your schedule and life allows. Of course, we are always also have some paid positions. We have our lunch aid positions and our latchkey or school age childcare positions available. We are always looking for people for those positions as well. So lots of ways to get involved in Fraser. All right, so now we're ready to the specifics. How do I enroll in Fraser? And what I'm going to go over now is who's eligible to enroll, what the registration process looks like, what are those documents you need to bring in, and then Mr. Sutherland's going to talk about the Bergans Assessment that's needed for kindergarten and DK students. So this is the enrollment part. And when it comes to who's eligible to enroll a child in Fraser, well, anyone who lives in our district. And so our district is comprised of, remember that colorful map at the beginning of the presentation, is all of Fraser, is part of Fraser Public Schools, but also parts of Clinton Township and Roseville that you would see on the map. Those are residents that can enroll in Fraser schools at any time. We also welcome all Macomb County residents through our School of Choice program. And we do have unlimited seats available. So as long as you reside in Macomb County, you would complete a School of Choice form and go through the enrollment process and secure your spot in our district. Those forms are available with the online registration packet that I'll talk about in the next slide or two. And then if you are applying for School of Choice, School of Choice window is open right now. You would fill out that School of Choice form with your registration packet. We do make those phone calls in August for placement. So you do wait a little bit, but it is unlimited. So you wouldn't know at your particular school until early August, but we do date those and we try to call families in the order that we receive your application. So I would encourage you, if you're a School of Choice family, to do that as soon as possible, so that your first choice of the school is more likely to happen. We always try to honor first choice. You put a first choice and a second choice on that form, and in most cases, we will honor, we're able to honor one of those. I can't think of a time where we actually did a first or a second choice. So anyway, that's important to get those School of Choice forms in early. If you have if you're a current School of Choice family and you have other children that are already started with us, you will have a preference as far as your child being placed at that school. So if you have a third grader at Salk and you are filling out a kindergarten enrollment pack because you already have students at Salk, that would we wouldn't separate siblings at all. Okay, so that's who's eligible for enrolling. And when you enroll, these are the things that you need. And this is the business part of enrolling a child in school. We have an online registration packet, and we encourage you to go online. And I'll walk you through that in just a minute. You'll fill out that packet before your appointment. You will also need to bring in your original birth certificate for your child, not a copy. It has to be the original with the embossed certificate, the shot record, and also incoming kindergartners would need current vision and hearing testing. We need proof of your residency, whether it's a mortgage agreement, a lease, or a rent. Proof of that, and then along with 2 bills, which could be utility bills, credit card, medical, something that has your name and address on it. So those are the documents that you need to register for school. All right, so here's where you go to get that online packet. So you could go to fraser.com and it will bring you to this page, and you will see in the center is a big blue rectangle that says, please click here to enroll in Fraser Public Schools. You would click that, and on the next page, next slide will show you exactly what that will bring you to. So, you'll see 3 different steps here. And one is, first of all, the year you're going to register. So the top button is for 2021-22 school year. You would click the yellow button. And when you go click on the yellow button, it's going to take you to an online form where you will fill out your demographic information, all sorts of information. You know, it takes you through the whole registration packet that you would fill out online. It's not necessary for you to print that. We will, you know, my admin assistant, Mrs. Herndon, she's happy she prints those for us. So no need to worry about that. Step 2, then you'll see the dark blue button, and the dark blue button is to schedule an appointment. So we like to honor everyone's time, and rather than to have you come and you have to wait or have, you know, somebody not being able to help you, we want to make sure that you are serviced right away. So after you have all of your packet completed, you want to make sure you click, you know, the dark blue button, which is an appointment. It's a sign up program where you will pick the day and time that you would like to come over to the administration building that's at Garfield and Klein to bring in that some of those records that we talked about, the residency papers, the the birth certificate, all of those things. You'll bring those in, and we will get you set up and your registration completed. The third step is for parents of kindergarten and DK students, and that is a second appointment that you need for a Bergans appointment. So that's a very important page. It has all the direct buttons for you to click on. It'll take you to the document that you need. So kindergarten and DK enrollment, just want to reiterate to you that there are 2 separate appointments that you'll need to make. The one is the registration appointment, where you'll come to the administration building and you will bring all your paperwork, and we will get your enrollment completed, your school of choice paper turned in and dated and documented. That's at the administration building. The second appointment kindergarten and DK parents need to make is for the Bergans Assessment. And this year, all of the Bergans assessing is going to be done at Dooley, and that will be done starting in June. So what you will do is set up an appointment, and those appointments are open now, but they're June dates. So there's a week in June where there are a lot of different dates to choose from to bring your child over to Dooley, where they will then be assessed. And you're probably wondering what Bergans is, and Mr. Sutherland, our Disney principal, is going to explain that to you. It's not a high pressure test.
Yes, not a high pressure test at all. The big thing I want you to know is the Bergans is not an IQ test or anything about intelligence. It's something that just tells us where the readiness of each child is for our kindergarten programming. It is a very important piece of our planning for our programs, and we do require that every student entering developmental kindergarten or kindergarten take the Bergans. It's not too painful. It only takes about 15 minutes, and it does provide a baseline for our teachers to just know what are each child's strengths and what do we need to work on as either individuals or as a group. And the results are not reported on a report card or anything like that. It is really to help us plan for your child.
And I think the next slide shows how to get that appointment.
Yes, so you'll just be, when you go into the link, it's a Sign Up Genius. And like Dr. Anderson mentioned, this appointments are available in June. It is really easy, and we will email you a reminder for your appointment, and we really look forward to meeting your child.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Sutherland. The important thing about that is, and this is the #1 question we get, is my child, when a child takes the Bergans screening, if it's a pass-fail kind of thing, it has nothing, and I want to just reiterate, that has nothing to do with that. As Mr. Sutherland said, it really just gives us a snapshot, and we realize it's a snapshot of your child that one day and how they interacted with the person that's doing their testing, which I want to share, are our kindergarten teachers that do that assessment, or our kindergarten interventionists. So the people, they're friendly. It's a friendly staff who works with young children every day. And I think next up we have Miss Skladnowski.
Thank you,
Thank
you, Dr. Anderson. Like Ms. Wozniak said, I'm a proud graduate from Fraser Public Schools, and I this year am a school age mom. My oldest is now a kindergartner in Fraser Public Schools, and I'm so proud of the progress and growth I've seen just in this short time, starting off remote and virtual, and now she's back face to face. And it's just kudos to our staff across the district. My children also went to the Dooley Center and received quality foundation there so that they were kindergarten ready. So I can't speak enough about the quality education that my own children are receiving and why we chose to come to Fraser as well. So in order to get ready for the next steps for your child, there's so many things that you can be doing at home and making learning fun and getting them prepared for the experience that they will come into, whether it be DK or kindergarten. Reading is so important, whether you're reading to them, with them, and just making sure we talk about the stories. Speaking firsthand experience of the prep that we went through the closure and through the summer, you can just really see the confidence grow when you give them those tools. Taking time to have the conversations and just expanding their vocabulary. Our kids love to tell stories, and it's clear that practicing, whether it be reading or just reciting words, sight words, letter recognition, counting, naming letters, any of the above are all things and tools that will help them be successful. Some other things through play, playing with Play-Doh, cutting, making projects, holding a pencil, all those fine motor skills really do make a big impact on the success of the child as they get into DK or kindergarten. And like Dr. Anderson said in the beginning, kindergarten is much different than maybe any of us remember it going through. So practicing writing your first name, knowing first and last name, because it is a whole different world. But all this can be done through play, and we're just really looking forward to meeting your children come in the fall.
Thank you, Mrs. Sklad. Okay, so what's next? We're nearing the end, getting ready for questions, and then we'll get to those in just a minute. But what's next? After tonight's presentation, Ms. Ledford will be sending out a communication via email and stay in contact with you. We want you to watch for our district communications that are digital. We are not a paper district very often at all, only upon request. So you want to watch for those district communications, and of course, you want to go on to that, go to fraser.com, complete that online registration packet, schedule that appointment to bring your documents in, get that school of choice form in, schedule the Bergans, mark it on your calendar for June, and then Meet the Teacher Nights will be held in late August. So hopefully that's time where our buildings can be open to visitors, and you'll be able to get a tour of the building and be able to see all of the wonderful classrooms and meet some of the staff that we have. That would typically be in late August. So with that, I think we're on to questions, and I think Ms. Ledford, I don't know how many questions you've received in any certain areas, but we've got a whole panel of people that can help provide the information our attendees might be looking for.
We only got a couple of questions. Some of our current DK parents want to know, well, the Bergans assessment, is that something they still need to sign up for, or is that going to be given during the school day at the Dooley Center, or do they even need to do it if they're already in DK?
Mrs. Maroney, you want to take that one?
Sure. Yes, our current DK students will get the Bergans in the classroom with their teachers, so they don't have to sign up for that.
Okay. And also with the current DK students, do they need to resubmit the enrollment packet, or will all of that information transfer over?
The information will transfer over. They don't have to do the enrollment packet. If they're school of choice, they do have to fill out the school of choice form again.
And that is available on our website as a standalone document. And then the only other question we have is, do the elementary schools still do 6th grade camp?
Okay, Well, that will be very interesting, honestly, as a parent of three grown children that all went through Fraser Public Schools. Sixth grade camp has traditionally been a very, I guess, a rite of passage. However, in 2021, and even, as far as 3 years ago, pre-pandemic, the sixth grade camp has really taken some different shapes, and our buildings have really recognized those activities and the camaraderie that our sixth graders need, and they work very hard to build that. Overnight camps are not always something our families are, I should say the majority of our families are comfortable with. So we've had to tweak and adjust. Our several schools, and I don't want to speak for all of them, so they can provide clarifications, but several schools do the camp and try to get all of those activities and experiences that a sixth grader would typically have in an overnight camp. It's more economical. Our families feel, some of our families feel safer and more secure knowing that their child is going to be sleeping at home that night, but is still able to build those relationships. And those in the sixth grade year, it's such a great year for the final year of elementary, from starting off the school year with welcome breakfast and being the leaders of the school. They have lots of different opportunities through the sixth grade year, even beyond the camp. But the overnight camp is really something that is something that we're very responsive. Our parents and our families have told us they may not feel as comfortable with as they may have back when, maybe some of our parents went to school and Mrs. Skladden went to sixth grade camp. Mrs. Woods.
Some of the other questions that are coming in are about special ed. How do students access special education services if they need them? And then are those services available to students even in DK?
We have a wonderful special education department in Fraser Schools. If you have a student that currently has an IEP and they are at the Dooley preschool, any of the Dooley preschool programs, that IEP will automatically transfer to them with them when they enroll into kindergarten. If your student is not currently enrolled in Fraser but has an IEP, perhaps through another school district, you would bring a copy of that IEP to your registration meeting when you come into the board office, and our district would mirror as closely the services provided in that IEP with our fantastic special ed department. And then we would get to know your student and have our own Fraser IEP within a certain amount of time. We have speech pathologists, social workers, and psychologists at every elementary building, and we have a really wonderful tiered support system where we have a close eye on all the skill levels of all of our children. We also screen with our speech pathologist every kindergarten throughout the entire district to see what their current level is at, and we work with all those kids based on where they're falling out at that time.
This is Marissa. We usually talk about this when we're face to face, our MTSS system, and just you alluded to it, and our parents may or may not know what that really means, because we do assess all of our kindergartners coming in as far as speech and language. However, as part of is just the way we do business, and this would be for all grade levels, is we benchmark our students in reading and math, and also social emotional assessment 3 times a year. And what that does is, as Ms. Morowski said, it really helps us keep a handle on our students and how they're progressing. So we do not, we do not wait for students to fall through the cracks. We monitor them closely, and if a student needs some extra support in any of those areas, we put that in place, and then we monitor their progress and evaluate whether it's working or not. So we have a very comprehensive, what we call a multi-tiered system of support for our students, and that is for all K-6 students, actually even beyond, but for this presentation, elementary. We know our students well, and if they need additional supports, and it doesn't always mean special education, oftentimes it just means some extra reading support or math support.
Some of the other questions that we got are about current kindergarten class sizes and just class sizes in general. What are those at?
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you want me to
Okay,
take
Kristen, I think, yeah,
Yeah.
I missed the last of it, actually.
It's about kindergarten enrollment. I can start the conversation. We do have target class sizes across the district for K1, 2, and then 3rd through 6th grade. Right now, our kindergarten classes are running smaller than they typically would because of COVID. We've worked really hard to try to reduce class sizes at the elementary and to keep them smaller, just to have strong mitigation strategies, to try to keep students separated. But in the fall, hopefully things will be back to normal, where we can have our traditional class sizes, which typically be up to our, I believe 26 to 28 is our target. 26 is the goal, and we go up to 28. But again, if you are looking right now at our in-person kindergarten sizes, you would probably be hearing again that they're much smaller than they normally are. And again, I just think that is, a testament to us reacting and responding to, the health and safety concerns that our families have. Our online classes are at their traditional class sizes. We kept those, with the current class sizes, but our in-person classrooms right now are at a reduced size than they would typically be at, due to the fact that we're really trying to do our best to socially distance.
A couple of parents have asked if they have a student that is turning 5 and it's kind of right around that September 1st, if they sign up for kindergarten and do the Bergans assessment and realize that they should be in DK, can they switch? And then the opposite, if they do the Bergans, but they, show the readiness and they have a birthday after September 1st, could they enroll in kindergarten in the fall?
Yeah. Good question. Our staff, that is when we do the Bergans testing, we'll have conversations with the parent. And if that's something that you're wondering about, I would suggest that a parent at Bergans testing time, have that first beginning conversation. And then certainly we also have a period of time when the school year first starts. And if we have students that start in a kindergarten classroom and are just struggling, and we just, but the parent works with the teacher and the teacher works with the parent, and together you make a decision that maybe developmental or DK program is a better fit for your child, as long as we have space. And we do anticipate that, at the beginning of each year, there are some of those transitions that are needed. But if you, I guess, once the program fills up, and sometimes that happens, once the DK classrooms are full, then we can't move children. But at the start of the year, we do have on occasion students that we can transfer, but that's not always. So if it's something that you're thinking might be something in consideration, I urge you to talk to that when you're Bergans testing. You need to talk to the staff right away, so that they can note that on your child's assessment.
One of the questions we got about DK, and this is probably my fault for not putting it on the SAC slide, is there a childcare offering for students in DK? And there is. I just forgot to mention that on the slide. So it follows the same model as the school-age childcare. It's just early childhood care at the Dooley Center.
Correct. So that's available.
One of the questions we got for the older students is, what grade does band start?
I can take it.
That one. You're like the band expert, right? You can talk about the song flute.
Yeah, my internet is dropping, so.
Band begins in 5th grade for our students.
Thank you, Keith. Yes. Yeah, and I don't know if you want to talk about kind of how we introduce students to the song flute. I mean, band is obviously a really big deal. The music, the performing arts in Fraser is something we're incredibly proud of. Mrs. Woods, maybe you want to say something? You'd be an excellent person, ambassador to this conversation.
Sure. Yeah, being a graduate of the Fraser Band program, I would love to speak to it. Our students are very fortunate in Fraser. They do get band starting in 5th grade, which is, I think, unusual compared to some other districts. Band is started in 5th grade for all students, and they learn basic band fundamentals with the song flute. And then in late fall, we have a song flute concert generally during more normal circumstances. And after that time, students get to choose if they want to continue on and play an instrument. And after that point, they generally have band 5th and 6th grade about 3 days a week, just the students who have chosen it. And that really prepares them then for middle school band when they get to the 7th grade over at Richards.
Thanks.
And kind of going along that same line of offerings, extracurricular offerings, are there any sports programs offered for K-6?
I would say that the main sports offerings are through our townships, like whether it's Clinton Township or Fraser. They have great parks and recs programs, but we do not have any organized kindergarten through 6th grade athletics. Our athletic department has been running in years past a really fun basketball opportunity for our kids, and our schools were really getting into that over the last couple of years. So we will see if we can initiate some of that once we open back up full again.
Yes, that's right. They do that. And they also do like a cheer camp usually, and the students can cheer at one of the halftime football games for the high school. And then they also have a dance camp during normal circumstances when we actually have sports and attendees and all of that. Then let's see, if a student is in preschool at the Dooley Center, will they need to sign up for the Bergans, or will that be done during the preschool day?
They will need to sign up for the Bergans if they're in one of the preschool programs, except Focus 4. If they're in Focus 4, the teacher does the Bergans in the classroom.
And I believe that is all of the questions that we got, which is awesome because we have 4 minutes left. So we're right on time.
Awesome.
Always good to spend time, right? Excellent. Well, I hope this last hour has been really informative to all of you. And if any additional questions come to mind, certainly reach out. We are, go to our website. You will find our contact information. Ms. Ledford is very quick at responding to any kind of questions that our community might have, or forward them on to any one of us who might have that information. Once again, I thank you for being on tonight. I hope to see you soon over at the administration building, turning in that registration packet and preparing for the 21-22 school year. And we are certainly looking forward to meeting your children. Have a wonderful evening.
Thank you. Thanks for tuning in.